Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of T3 podcast series, Bolder Voices, Better Insights, where we take you behind the scenes of the exciting developments in the world of travel and tourism. In today's episode, we are joined by the Director General of Tourism, Ms. Mugdha Sinha, who will be sharing the Ministry of Tourism's ambitious plans for 2025 and the vision the ministry has to continue shaping the tourism landscape in the years ahead. Ms. Sinha brings with her a wealth of experience and leadership qualities. With strong background in public administration and policy, she has been actively engaged in shaping India's tourism strategy, focusing on sustainable development, digital transformation, and enhancing global competitiveness. Under her leadership, the ministry has announced several innovative initiatives aimed at boosting both domestic and international tourism. But before we dive into the future, let's take a quick recap of what the Ministry of Tourism accomplished in 2024. From launching new initiatives aimed at enhancing tourism infrastructure to boosting digital innovation and sustainability efforts, the ministry has made significant strides in promoting both domestic and international tourism. Key milestones included the launch of Wedding Tourism Campaign, Chalo India Global Campaign, Dekhu Apna Desh, People's Choices 2024, and Rural Tourism Push and Hospitality Partnerships. Now, looking at 2025, we are excited to hear about the new strategies and initiatives that will take tourism sector to even greater heights. Stay tuned to this special episode as we dive into all of that with the DG Tourism. Let's get started. Welcome, Ms. Sinha. It is a pleasure to have you with us at the T3 podcast series, Bolder Voices, Better Insights. To begin with, we would like to learn about the vision and strategy of the ministry for promoting tourism in India in 2025.
Yeah, thank you very much, Navneet, for this session today on travel and tourism. As you are aware that we are beginning the new year with very significant and focused initiatives. Of course, one is the Mahakumbh that is taking place, which is the world's largest spiritual congregation and a magnet for domestic tourists and pilgrims. And if you also recall that, what Martin Luther King said, that I can travel to anywhere in the world as a traveler, as a tourist, but when I come to India, it's always a pilgrimage. So I think the Mahakumbh is going to set the stage for us as far as the domestic tourists are concerned, because we are expecting about 45 crore people during the 2 months that we have, beginning from 13th of January to the 26th of February. Then, of course, we have a slew of events. Our ministry's own flagship event, which is the Bharat Parv, which takes place, which is also a mix of showcasing India at the Red Fort with all kinds of visual and performative, extravaganza of the various cultural traditions of the country and the cultural offerings that we have, gastronomy, tourism, etc. But apart from that, this year is also very, very significant because we are entering this year with a focus based on the Honorable Prime Minister's announcement of 2025 as the year of India-ASEAN Tourism. And you always know that we end year with a very, very significant flagship event, which we have been doing here, which was very, very successful last year, which is the International Tourism Mart in the Northeast. And this last year, we did the event in Kaziranga. And if you read the newspapers, the recent reports, you will find that our consistent and consolidated effort of growing bigger and bigger and showcasing the Northeast in a bigger manner has led to the New York Times announcing Kaziranga and Kaziranga and Assam as one of the top 4 places to visit in the world out of a selection of 52 places. In fact, Navneet, if you remember last year, there was a survey of the top 20 global luxury trains. And we were very fortunate to have 3 of our luxury trains from India. In fact, India was the only country to have 3 trains in the top 20. I think we also, if you look at the infrastructure that is growing in the last 10 years, you will find that significant, footprints have been made as far as connectivity is concerned, both by land, air, and railways, which is very, very significant and a huge draw for tourists. I am given to understand by IRCTC that this year, post the WTM, which was also a very big event, the event that we did at Katisak to launch the Chalo India evening. The bookings for the Maharaja Express, which the railway runs as one of the luxury trains, which also featured in the Condé Nast survey, the bookings have gone up significantly. In fact, the railways this year has also launched the Deccan Orient Express for the first time. It has restarted the express. So I think if you look at all the entire ecosystem, and if I also include the hospitality sector, I think the last 2 years in terms of the average per rate per room profits, if I look at the room occupancy, you will find that the last 2 years, 23 and 24, have been very, very good for the hospitality sector. And we hope that with our consistent efforts, we will make this visual story and narrative of India viral. And we hope that we will be able to make India a preferred global destination for all 365 plus days. That is, we are pitching India as a destination for all kinds of traveler and also all kinds of seasons, because I think India is the only country, very blessed, very fortunate to have the magnanimity of the climate. We have 6 different kinds of season. So, and of course, diversity is our USP. So I think we will be encashing all this and putting out this entire narrative using infographics, etc., to the world. So we will be, appealing both to the right and the left sides of people's brains, which is using data analytics so that people can make intelligent decisions, aiming at the rational right side, and also then doing an emotional appeal based on the safety, hygiene, security on the to the left hemisphere of people's understanding and how they do decision making. So I'm very positive and hopeful. We are beginning the year on a very, very positive and optimistic note. We hope to do very, very well in 2025.
That does sound very exciting, and we hope that India is able to get that kind of attention, the good coverage that we've been getting so far. You've spoken about capacity building in the hospitality sector. How does the government plan to engage with that, the private players, as you keep talking about in your earlier messages?
Yeah. So, if you would know or recall that, last month we did a huge meeting with the hotel industry. We reached out to not just the people who run the hospitality business, but we also reached out to people who do a lot of data analytics and trend mapping for the hospitality industry. And we did sessions across various verticals where we spoke about, what is rate of return for the investment. If you look at it from the tourist point of view, it is value for money for them when they come to India. So every penny spent on building the infrastructure, increasing the supply chain of the availability of the rooms, doing the survey to find out how the states are faring, because there is a triangulation which takes place. How people travel is based on either they have a particular attraction on their bucket list. If they have a particular attraction, and if that is the pull factor, then they will look around in a concentric circle of where the nearest accommodation, a good, safe, clean accommodation is available. And then, of course, then they'll look at accessibility, connectivity, how to reach that destination. That is one way of how people travel. The other way of how people travel is they will look at the accommodation and then they will look at what is available in the concentric circuit around that accommodation in terms of attraction, etc. So we did a lot of discussions. We also looked at how digital technologies, because India is very, very fortunate to have set up what is called the digital public infrastructure in terms of the digi lockers, etc., digi yatra. So we also brought the MOT to talk about their how people can travel paperless, and how the whole aspect of security can be built, how you can do recognition of your visitors who come to your hotels, how that can be eased out. So ease also of travel, ease of booking is already there on our Incredible India portal. We reached out to a huge number of OTAs and they have signed up for a portal. We are also working very closely with the ONDC, which is one of the largest platforms integrators of not just products but also services, because tourism is a service sector. So hospitality plays a very important role. We are also expending huge amount of money across our four schemes: the Swadesh Darshan version 2, the Prasad, the CBDT, and the SASCI, which is the special assistance which has been extended to the state governments, to ensure that while we also focus on developing alternate destinations, we also look at the connectivity and the accommodation around those destinations. And accessibility becomes very important because you have all kinds of people who are traveling. In fact, if you look at the high spenders, the long stayers, you will realize that most of them are empty nesters. So looking at the geriatric traveler becomes very important, and that is where your accessibility, all kinds of accessibility around all kinds of disabilities, becomes very, very important. So we are also investing in that. And of course, India is very uniquely positioned in terms of the way that we do hospitality, Manwar as it is called in the state from where I come. So I think that uniqueness, because the authenticity of the experience is increasingly becoming a trend, a global trend, and we would like to extend that as part of our hospitality capacity building program. Both the Ministry of Skill Development and our own ministry are working with various private partners. We've signed up deals with various hospitality industries. In fact, 8 international hospitality chains have signed up MOUs at the World Tourism Day with our Indian Institutes of Hospitality Management to be able to upskill and reskill our students so that they can become global service providers, not just work in the country, but also carry the message of hospitality from our country. We are also partnering with the GSTCs who give this kind of international training in the hospitality sector, so we can also be globally benchmarked. We are also infusing the whole idea of travel for life and sustainability by encouraging our hospitality chains, and because the ministry classifies hotels into 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, so that kind of standardization, so that once the OTA platforms announce the hotels as a 5-star property, you exactly know what kind of services you can expect. So this is an entire bouquet of work that is going on around the hospitality sector, and we are working very, very closely with them. And in fact, the hospitality sector is also very excited because very recently we had a lot of churning of ideation at various kinds of platforms that were made available, where the ministry and the hotel industry sat across and decided the new course of action that is required in collaboration to take the whole concept of incredible India forward in the global realm of possibilities. Yeah.
You've given so much of information that I'm going to process it and probably ask you questions one by one on that. When we're talking about, we had the Digi Yatra has made, it's been like a, let's say, it's
Game changer.
revolutionary, exactly, technology, and it's made travel so much easier. Are there any other plans or programs or any other tools that you're planning to introduce which would also facilitate and take it further, the ease of travel for people?
Yes. So I think hyper localization, that is basically a tool when you use any of the search platforms, which is the search engine optimization, which happens. We are planning to pitch all the digital portals that we have, including the Incredible India, including the campaign, the Chalo India and the Dekho Apna Desh, because this is a world which works on a collaboration between the human mind and the machine mind. A huge amount of investment is happening in deep machine learning, and we are trying to use the artificial intelligence to bring out ease, because this is also a world of infocalypse, huge amount of information. And if you look at the decision theory, it tells you that if you have more than 6 choices, that you will be confused. And this is a world where each country, we have about 290 plus countries and small islands which are also countries in themselves, and they are all promoting tourism of their country. In fact, they are using influencers from other countries to promote their own country. So in this world of infocalypse, it is very, very important that we can enable, provide, use technology as scaffolds, especially artificial intelligence, generative AI, to enable people to look at places about which they may have no idea, about which very less information may be available in the public domain. But through hyperlocalization, localization, you might be able to spot hidden gems. Also, facilitation is a very, very important role that tourism has to play, because if you have queries, if you have questions, today all our digital portals, including the Chalo India portal, has a AI generated chatbot which enables you to reach out to us. In fact, the Mahakum also, we've started a huge call center which caters to our expats, to foreign tourists, to travelers, to content creators, to influencers, to photojournalists, to researchers who may be planning to come, not in a similar manner, not viewing the Kumbh in exactly the similar manner as the domestic tourist or the pilgrim might be, but for other various other reasons. And the call center, with a dedicated helpline with about 50 plus people in multilingual languages, the 5 UN languages, will be enabling people with all kinds of queries you have. Our mobile app for the Incredible India is under construction, and very soon you will also see that it will enable a huge amount of experiential tourism, because you'll be able to create your own itineraries using the generative AI and artificial intelligence. So I think technology driven decisions will become very, very, if I can just say, intelligence driven decision, similar to what we do in the government, which is evidence based decision making, will become very, very important in times to come, because you will have to take very insta quick decisions, and you will want all kinds of information at the tips of your hand. And I think that is where technology will provide ease, not only in travel but in all kinds of decision making, including where you go, how you book, also enabling you to see what kind of travel blogs and diaries and experiences other travelers have had, and then also being able to string the whole thing and then provide your own feedback of your travel from that place. So I think this will be almost like a blockchain kind of an experience, where you build on the shoulder of giants to be able to undertake your next travel. And this is where we will also be infusing a lot of our energy and resources.
So there's no more getting lost at Kumbh Mela, the Bollywood style with the new technology that you have in place.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't think the Bollywood will have to now look at other kinds of storylines than the two missing siblings, because you can be sure that the Ministry of Tourism has not only set up its call center and helpline to facilitate you, but our call center, which is the 1363, is also connected with the UP government and Mela Adhikaris helpline, which is 1920. So if there is any problem, we'll also handhold you and shift you. And so integration is also a very key word when it comes to technology. Also, the fact there are huge amount of surveillance cameras that have been put in Kumbh, so there is no way that you'll get lost. We are also using what is called the ping location. So if you get lost, we have all important locations will have ping locations, and we will send you a ping of the place where we think you would be safe to travel to and be available in case you've lost out. We'll at least tell you where the lost and found is. So a lot of technology enables you to also do a lot of crowd control and intelligence surveillance, which is very, very important for ensuring people's safety and security. So there is no way you're going to get lost. We are there. Hum hai na, that kind of a thing is what the Ministry of Tourism is doing. And in fact, we are doing it for the first time. Yes, so I was just saying that in the Mahakumbh, not only has the ITDC set up about 80 luxury tents, but we've also, for the first time, taken a camp office in the Arail region, just next to the Naini Bridge, so that we can facilitate all kinds of tourists, not only for the tent accommodations, booking, etc., but for all kinds of programs and cultural offerings, including the rituals which may be taking place in the various akharas. In this time, there are enhanced number of akharas, 33 akharas which have taken place, and we'll also have our own jetty and boats to take people. So if anybody is planning to come, and we are focused primarily on the VIP and the foreign foreign tourists, the expats, the photojournalists, the content creators, the influencers. We will also be conducting 50 different kinds of fam trips for our content creators and influencers, and we are offering one night stay in the luxury tent for people to be able to photo record and cinematographically record the Kumbh and talk about the various activities in the Kumbh from a very, very tourism perspective, because that is very important to get people to see the kind of spiritual congregation that this is, which does not need an invitation for any other kind of gathering, say for example a festival anywhere, a music concert anywhere. You have tickets, you have invites, you have advertisements, but this is the only congregation which has been running since time
Memorial.
yeah, immemorial. And we find that it is rooted in authenticity right from the time of the Samudra Manthan, and continuous gathering, looking at the astronomical celestial sky. People look at the sky, which also means that while the Western ideology might have box science only for the scientists in the laboratories, here in India, every being knows how the celestial sky interacts with our daily lives. And so, as above, so below is, a template for how the congregation at the Kumbh happens. Nobody has invited anybody, and people have started flocking for the kalpas and for all kinds of ritualistic performances. And it is not just ancient, but also the most continuous religious or spiritual gathering which has been happening. So tourism will play its role, will rise up to the occasion and ensure that you find yourselves, not just that you don't get lost here, but you also find yourself when you come here as who you are and what your purpose in life is. So purposeful, meaningful travel is also what we are encouraging. And of course, be a responsible tourist. Add value to your life by coming here, but please don't add any waste to the whole congregation, because the COD and the BOD of the Ganges has been, enhanced to ensure that all the carbon footprints that will be created here. So the huge amount of back end is taking place to ensure that you have a very safe and successful dip in the Ganges or a visit to the Mahakumbh this year.
What is the kind of footfalls that you're expecting, for the entire duration that we have? And what is
Yes,
the kind of investment that has gone in?
yes. So I'm given to understand that the UP government and the Mela Adhikari, which is the people who set up this entire temporary city, and if you look at the numbers that are expecting, it is more than the population of many big countries. So they call it a temporary city for 2 months. Takes huge amount of investment. 5,000 plus crores has been invested to set up this kind of a city. 150 thousand toilets have been set up. Some 25,000 staffers have been deployed to ensure that everything remains clean. Huge amount of security cameras have been put in, and of course, huge amount of people